We live in an era where self-improvement is marketed as the ultimate path to success. I've personally watched over 1,000 videos on how to become the best version of myself. I used to think I was on the right track, but in reality I was just fooling myself or learning how to attract diaries with notes, followed countless tips, and made self-improvement my life's mission. But looking back, I realized that none of those videos truly helped me in the long. Instead, they made me paranoid and over-analytical. Instead of focusing on becoming better, I became obsessed with the idea of being perfect. The worst part was that the more I consumed these videos, the more my confidence took a nosedive. Before I discovered self-improvement, I was able to navigate social situations with ease. I wasn't overthinking my body language, communication, or presence. I used to walk into a room and talk to people with raw confidence, not worrying about how I looked or acted. But once I started diving into these how to be confident videos, I became hyper-aware of myself. I became more self-conscious than ever before. Was I standing straight? Was my posture proven? Content, while intending to confidently enough, can often backfire. More and more videos about becoming better. I realized that I wasn't actually improving my life. I was deteriorating it. Instead of going out and interacting with people like I used to, I became overly cautious, and fearful thoughts like it was replaced by stirring. Oh yeah, and what were others' theory? Would reach out to my house to help me deal with what was going on before. The irony is that I was doing exactly what these videos suggested, but I was seeing the opposite. My presence of mind, which used to be sharp, had become clouded with doubt. The content didn't teach me to engage with people naturally. It filled my head with unnecessary information that made me overanalyze every move. This constant analysis and fear of judgment stifled my ability to communicate. A faster than feeling more in control. I felt like I was losing control of my own mind. I became a shell of the confident person I once was. One thing that completely shocked me was how irrelevant most of the advice was. In real life, the endless lists of top 5 or top 10 ways to be better didn't serve me at all. Instead, they cluttered my mind with unnecessary steps and rules. That only made me more confused. But something happened to change my productivity tip. That revolutionized the way I look. It wasn't about following 100 steps, but about simplifying and prioritizing what truly mattered. By focusing on fewer things, I could give my energy to what was. This realization was like a breath of fresh air. I began to understand that true self-improvement doesn't come from obsessing over every progress and areas that matter, from mastering my product to areas and letting go of the rest. The more I applied this less is more approach, the more my life started to improve. It wasn't about perfection. It was about practicality, the shift in mindset LED to real results. And I realized how powerful simplicity could be. When it comes to self-improvement, one of the most life-changing concepts I encountered was from the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving Effort. The idea was simple. Stop giving your energy when things that don't matter. In lifestyle is easier. But as I revisited the idea and applied everything I realized that by prioritizing only the essential things, this is when I started to explode. Just for what I was shared in my productivity. The things that once felt like mountains. I also invited the manager of times across the nation, instead of getting overwhelmed by the number of tasks I had to complete. I'm focusing on just a few key activities. My organization allowed me to stop overthinking and start this mind change. I made my product of these skyrocket, and that's a real massive impact on my life. By reducing the number of things I cared about, I was able to channel my energy into what truly mattered. And this was the secret to breaking free from the procrastination trap. As I continued to simplify my approach to life, I realized that the subconscious mind plays a much larger role in our lives than we give it credit for. Our conscious mind, the one we use to think and plan, is nowhere near as powerful as the subconscious mind that operates in the background. When I stopped obsessing over self-improvement and allowed my subconscious mind to take control, things started falling into place naturally. It was almost as if my mind was doing the heavy lifting for me, without me even realizing it. The more I trusted my subconscious, the more confident and productive I became. This shift from conscious effort to subconscious flow was a game changer. I no longer had to think about every little thing I was doing. Instead, my actions became automatic and my confidence returned. It's amazing how much more powerful the subconscious mind is when you let it guide you. It's not about forcing yourself to be better every moment. It's about allowing your mind to absorb what you've learned and letting it guide you naturally. This realization helped me break free from the self-improvement trap and regain the confidence I once had. The ultimate lesson I've learned from my self-improvement journey is that balance is key. While it's great to want to become better, too much obsession with self-improvement can lead to burnout and self-doubt. By shifting my focus away from constantly trying to be perfect, I was able to prioritize what truly mattered: my growth, my passion, and my happiness. I stopped giving my energy to things that didn't matter, and my subconscious mind took care of the rest. This approach allowed me to achieve sustainable success without feeling overwhelmed or paranoid. Now I focus on fewer things, but I do them with intention. I've made my YouTube channel and my video production my top priority, and the results speak for themselves. By simplifying my life and letting go of unnecessary distractions, I've regained control over my mind, body, and actions. Self-improvement is no longer a burden. It's a natural part of my life. If there's one takeaway from my experience, it's this: stop obsessing over becoming perfect, and instead focus on what truly matters. Trust yourself, and let your subconscious mind guide you to the success you deserve.